Oh, right. Oh my goodness, I was wearing the exact same shirt the last time I streamed as I am today. That's just crazy. Uh, okay. Wow, Fork's already in here. Good gracious. Test. Okay. Discord's working also. Fantastic. They're gonna lead with Yanima, which they usually do, or Monkey. Just why I lead with him. I can rock slide and kill him unless he's got a sash on. Of course, he could just U-turn. That does a lot of damage. Holy shit. He's gonna go into his... Oh, Rotom. Okay. Is it timid? We go for these. Bet you he thought he had Levitate. Which he does have Levitate. But Excadrill fucks that. He should have went into Hippodon. He's Infernape right now. He's going to either close combat or overheat. The smart move would be to overheat because I've got a Gengar. I'm going to go into Dragonite. Main Punch, okay. Now I go into Rotom just in case he's got HP Ice. Which doesn't look like he does because he's struggling to figure out what he's going to do with this thing. Thunder Punch? Good gracious. Well, that 2-hit KOs me. He's going to Drain Punch again. We go to Gengar. Oh. I would have Drain Punched if I were him. That's alright. Gengar took it like fucking champ. Did y'all see that shit? We Shadow Ball here. He doesn't really... Oh, he's got the Hydreigon. Should have probably Focus Blast. Hippowdon. Ooh, that wasn't a smart move for you. Or, and hear me out, or maybe it was. Okay, he's either gonna Earthquake, or he's gonna Roost, or he's gonna slack off. And either way, I need this Hippowdon to be weak. So... I bet you that thing is fast, isn't it? Let's see. Oh, it's not fast. But this thing... Do I need... Should I stay in? I probably shouldn't. I don't think that close combat OHKOs. Like white, we'll go Farming. Naive. Do I have Iron Fist? I don't think I have Iron Fist. It's combat. And this thing is called, I don't even know what this thing's called. Empoleon? How much time do I got? Empoleon, short specs, especially defensive. Close combat, but if I don't have Iron Fist, I don't think I do. I bought this on the thing and I didn't even pay attention to. Yeah. He's gonna stay in and try to get a burn on me. That's what I would do. Or maybe not. Yeah, you Thunder Punch. Can't kill me here. And I think I kill everything after our Dragon Dance. As long as he doesn't paralyze. Hawk Punch doesn't kill. I should have just Dragon Danced. I would have got health back. I should have Dragon Danced twice. Yeah, he wasn't smart enough to go into, which, I don't know, I don't think this thing gets priority. He should have went into Empoleon. I actually can't do anything against Empoleon. The fuck? How did he survive a +1? Oh my goodness. This could be Scarf. I should have Dragon Danced twice. That would have been so much better for me. Nope. Alright, that's game. Do I even have any priority? Oh, I have extreme speed on. Does he protect here? Does he have protect? Does he get roost? I've been seeing this Pokemon. He's got better special attack than he does attack, but his U-turn still did a lot. I guess Excadrill's just got really weak defense. But I see this bug with this Pokemon a lot. Not really sure why. Two in a row. How many points do I got? I still need like 10,000 battle points to get what I need. Ugh, this is painful. Fork, you gonna chat or are you? Huh?
Huh?
Are you gonna chat?
Yeah, I don't know what to chat about.
Well, didn't we just have a debate in stream?
Yeah.
Not
we
in
had one
stream.
like 4 days ago, yeah.
Not in stream. I'm sorry. On the Discord. Yesterday. It was yesterday.
On the Discord yesterday? Probably. I forgot what it was though.
Oh.
Probably, definitely. 2 days ago we were talking about what should and should not be allowed in like school classrooms.
Oh yeah, and you try to make it out like me and Experiment wanted to teachers to be able to tell their students what position they point their significant other in when they're fucking them in doggy style, right? That's what you
Oh,
thought.
really?
Is that not what you thought?
No, I think Mark said like he
Oh, Mark
agreed
said that.
when you said that. Yeah, I
Oh.
didn't say that.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, so it seemed like y'all's position came down to basically teachers shouldn't share anything that's not school related with the students, period, and a story and a discussion. Is that about right?
Could you repeat that? My brain's running like kind of slow today.
Yeah, same. So it seemed like y'all's position sort of just came down to teachers shouldn't share anything that's not school related with their students. Was that about right? Period.
Yeah, I've changed my mind a bit since then.
Okay.
But yeah, more or less.
What changes have you made to your position?
I don't know. It's like it's something I really haven't thought about. I was just debating to like, help grow my stance, right? I was trying to figure out where I placed.
Uh-huh.
Debating's also fun.
Uh-huh.
Um, what's changed is I think there's time for like talking with students about things that like what's it called? That like happen over the weekend, right? I think that's fine.
Uh-huh.
It's just there are certain things that I think aren't okay to discuss in a classroom.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed that much, but
Yeah, no, I agree. There's definitely certain things that are inappropriate to talk about in the classroom. Oh, that didn't kill! Oh my gosh! I'm so mad.
going too well. Oh, by the way, your kick stream isn't working.
It's not.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate. Alright, he's gonna protect. I know he's gonna protect, so what do I do? Do I stay in? Because he wants to heal, so he's gonna protect. Okay. He's gonna go into something that could take a hidden power ice. I'm so mad that didn't kill him. So I close combat. Got him. Alright, hold on, say that all over again. I'm sorry.
Me?
Yeah. There are probably some things that teachers can share that's not school related.
Yeah, that's all I was.
Like what exactly?
See, this is where I get like, this is where I'm stuck on the issue because I don't know what it like. I can't draw a fine line, right? You can give me certain circumstances, and I could probably give you a definite yes or no, but I don't really know what the line is.
Okay. Teacher goes into goes into school, tells the class that they that he had that he and his wife went to Disney World that weekend.
I think that's fine.
Oh shit, I'm facing a stall team. I'm just realizing this. Okay, so teacher goes into a classroom, says that he and his husband went to Disney World that weekend.
Okay, so this is where I'm like making my new stance.
Okay. Go for it.
I think it should depend on what the parents of the school want.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to talk about things that, like, for example, that aren't like based in science, like, just talk about things like, I don't know, just like things that aren't like based in science, that aren't like truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean like being gay isn't true, right? It's just, it's not really like a truth kind of thing, if you know what I mean. It's more of like it's just not like a fact, right? To be gay, it's something completely different. You can't list it under not being a fact or being a fact. So I think it should depend on what the parents of the children want. If the majority of parents agree, like they're fine with their kids being taught that, then I'm fine with that. If the majority of parents don't want their children to learn about that, then I would say don't teach the children that. And so, like, in places like California, where the majority of people are okay with learning about that, I'm completely fine with that. Like, raise your kids the way you want to raise them, as long as you're not, like, beating them or something. And in Florida, where they don't want to teach their kids that, I'm also fine with that. Just, yeah, just teach your kids. Don't beat them up, I guess. Teach your kids the way you want to teach them.
Okay, so if the parents want, they can bar a gay teacher from being able to teach their kids that to mention the fact that they have a husband
Yeah.
to the kids.
Yes.
Okay. So what? Okay. All right. I mean, if that's your position, that's your position.
You can like ask me questions and stuff like.
It's just a really weird position to have. Like you're essentially saying that crap. I don't think I have anything that can kill this thing. You're essentially saying that parents have like can just vote to be able to discriminate against people.
Discriminate, no.
Well, what? So the parents couldn't say you can't talk about your same-sex partner, but they could say something like, you can't talk about shit. There's no way I'm winning this. You can't talk about your spouse. Period.
Come again?
Man, what the fuck? This thing has 75% accuracy, and I have missed 3 out of 4. How is that happening? 70% accuracy, and I missed 3 out of 4. That's fucking bullshit.
Do you know who Hero TX is?
Okay, I'm done with this Gengar. Fuck this Gengar.
Hero TX was asked something in the Discord.
Hero TX?
Yeah, I don't know what he means by that.
Where are we at? General? Oh, is it political?
Political, yeah.
What age students?
I just
Oh,
typed-
I don't know why I didn't just put that in chat. Am I even connected to my chats? So yeah, for the purpose of this conversation, I would say that we are talking about.
For the question, are we talking high school or grade school? Okay, you're watching this stream.
Grade school.
Yeah, I'd say grade school, yeah. Because high school is when you start to learn about, definitely like other sexual things, right? I think any time, like middle school or before, parents should have the choice, but in high school, I think it should be kind of required to learn about other people and what other people like.
Okay. I'm forfeiting this match so I can focus on this conversation.
Alright, no.
Yeah. All right. So your position is that parents should be able to decide whether or not a teacher is able to talk about their significant other at all and the existence of the significant other in schools, right? That's your position.
Yes, in schools.
So if you worked at a school but however, parents do not have the right to say you cannot talk about your significant other at all in schools if they are same sex, but you can if they are opposite sex. They do not have that right, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, well, that's your position. What okay. Do you personally, if you had a kid and you were sending them to school and this rule was coming up for vote, would you vote against it or for the idea of disallowing teachers to even mention their spouses in school?
I would vote for it.
You would vote for it. Why?
Yes. Because I don't want my children learning about that, because it's much more complicated than just telling a child like some guys like guys, right? The thing.
No. I'm talking. Wait. Hold on. Let's get off the gay stuff for right now.
Okay.
Just talking about your spouses. You can't say I took my wife to Disneyland anymore.
Okay. So specifically the spouse.
Yeah. So like this rule comes up. You can't talk about spouses, and which means that you can't even say I took my wife to Disney World. You can say I went to Disney World, but you can't say you took your wife there. You can't even mention the existence of a wife.
Yes.
You would vote for that rule.
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Because that is directly related to informing children about homosexual relationships.
Oh, I would be a male teacher saying that I took my wife
Oh
school.
my gosh. I thought you were talking about a woman saying this.
No.
Okay.
I took my wife to Disney
Okay.
World, me as a male teacher.
Okay. I would say in general, yeah, I mean, it completely depends on what the parents decide. If they don't want their children
So,
learning about.
yeah, what I'm asking you specifically, if you're a parent
Mhm.
in this school district, are you going to vote
Yeah.
for this rule or against this rule?
Okay, define the rule, because I think
Okay,
that's what I'm confused on.
the rule is that no teacher can mention the existence of a spouse
Any spouse.
in the class. Yes, any spouse. So
I would probably vote for that, yeah.
you would vote for it. Why?
Yes.
Why?
Because, I mean, in general, I think it's a bad idea to just talk about anything unrelated to classes, right? Maybe not any spouse. I'd be fine with teaching children about relationships that they typically see, like, you know, man and woman is what I'm talking about, right? The reason why I have to be quiet, by the way, because my mom and dad are like wandering around the house, and sometimes I get very loud, so I might have to, you know, maybe bring it down to a whisper a bit.
Okay.
But the thing is what I think a lot of people have to realize is heterosexual and homosexual relationships are not the same thing. That doesn't mean one is worse than the other. That doesn't mean one is better than the other. It means they're two completely different things, and I don't think you can lump them together.
Okay. So what you said to me was that I would vote for this rule because generally talking about things out that's not in the classroom is not a good idea. And then you went on about heterosexual and homosexual relationships.
It depends on like what the rule would do. Would it like kick them out the classroom? Like would it fire them? It like really depends.
Well,
Would
they
it
would
just
get a reprimand of some sort, I would imagine. You're breaking a rule.
yeah, I'd say it depends on whether you're talking about a homosexual or a heterosexual relationship.
So you would treat those two things differently.
Yes.
Okay, so that's kind of where I was trying to get us to, because
Okay, yeah, I
uh,
would treat those things differently. Yeah.
while we were all talking in the chat, gonna go eat in a few. Don't want to ditch in the middle. Okay, while we're talking in the Discord, the text chat, it be at least Mike. I don't know how much you signed on to it because by the end I was just talking to him. That's his name, right? Mike.
Mark.
Mark.
Yeah.
Made it seem like he just didn't want any type of thing, a conversation
Yeah,
that doesn't
I
have
think-
anything to do with school.
Yeah, I was agreeing with that with him at first, but I think just based on my own morals, I can't really agree on that now.
Yeah, so right now you say, oh, it's okay if it's heterosexual, but it's not okay if it's homosexual.
Yeah.
Okay, and your reasoning behind that is because those two things are different?
Yes. I could describe why they're different.
Yeah, describe why the one is bad, worse to
Well, one isn't bad. It's
Okay,
just
why is
again,
one
One is
yeah.
not worse. One is not better.
Well, it would have to be worse if you're going to treat them. Say you can't do one, but you can do the other,
Not
right?
necessarily. I mean, I guess they could be better and worse in terms of like what they do. Like making children, I guess heterosexual is better, right? But like in general, I don't think there is a better or worse one. It's that they're different things. It's like sex, right? It's not that it's a bad thing, but you don't want to teach that to little kids yet, right? You want to wait off until they're old enough to understand. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just it's something that you don't want to teach your kids.
So are grade school kids, are they old enough to understand the concept of boyfriend and girlfriend?
No.
No? You don't think so? You don't think they see these things on TV, watch their mom and dad, and see what they do, and maybe their
I think
friends?
they do, but I don't think they understand what it actually is. I don't think they understand how it's a very loving thing. It's a very intimate thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think all they think is like, this girl has nice long hair and she's nice to me.
Okay.
Therefore, she's my girlfriend. Like they don't fully understand.
Well, I would imagine that. So, I'm not asking you if are little kids capable of being in the same type of relationships as adults. What I am asking is, do you think that they are capable of understanding some sort of concept behind the idea of a relationship, whether it's their mommy and daddy, whether it's their grandma and grandpa, whether it's their I don't know,
I mean,
sister,
yeah,
older
yeah,
sister, and their boyfriend.
yeah. I mean, I'm assuming most little kids know what it means. Mom and dad like each other.
Mm-hmm.
They live together.
Okay. So, do you think that they would also be able to understand dad and dad like each other? They live together and they're raising me as their kid?
That's the thing, is I think they would treat it the same thing as a heterosexual relationship. Dad and dad like each other, which is true. They do like each other, but there's much more to it.
Much more than much more
Dad and
than
dad like each other.
much more than what would be in a heterosexual relationship?
In terms of like, I mean, there are layers to both relationships. Yeah, I don't think one is like more confusing than the other.
Okay. So so far the only difference that I've heard you say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that one can create kids and the other can't.
Yeah, that's probably the one thing I've said, but I could explain it more if you want.
Sure.
Okay. So I would say mommy and or mommy and mommy, daddy and daddy is what children most understand, right? Is they like each other. That's the first thing they learn about is mommy and daddy like each other, daddy and daddy like each other, mommy and mommy like each other. That's a very like easy thing to understand.
Yep.
But then you get into the issue where they start to lump the two things together. And the thing is they are different, and I'll explain now why they are different. So obviously there's the birth thing, right? One can give, one can have kids, the other can't. At least in most situations, right? Like there might be some situations where the mom is sterile and or the dad can't impregnate the mom, stuff
Hmm.
like that. But in general, right? I think we can agree on that. And the thing is,
Hold on, I'm gonna go full Destiny and break out a notepad.
okay, go for it. Does he
Uh,
do that? He brings out notepads?
yeah.
Really? I did not know that. I don't really.
Differences.
I've watched a few things of him.
Birth.
Not really that much though.
All right, go ahead. All right,
What was they last talking about? Sorry.
you said that they can give birth.
Oh yeah, yeah. They can give birth, and then there's the problem of the idea that, or sorry, let me reframe. Jesus, my brain. Is there's a thing going around, right? There's this controversial idea. You might agree with it. You might not. You might think it's true. It is. I think we can both agree. Gen Z, right? There's a huge increase in the LGBTQ like population, right? The percent compared to other generations, it's gone up and up per generation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think the reason for that is, you can correct me if I'm wrong again. It is, I think it's talking more about something, like talking more about gay people, right? I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but again, once you start lumping it in together with heterosexual relationships, kids start thinking they're the same thing. They start thinking like, oh hey, this kid looks nice. This boy, he looks kind of hot, right? I'm a boy. He has I don't know. He looks good, right? Therefore, I like him. He's my boyfriend now. Is things like that where I think it's normalizing something is okay, but once you start giving it to children, is they take it in a they start to think of it in a different way than adults think they will, and so then they'll start to do that thing because it's so normalized. Just like they will start to do it simply because they were taught about it, right? And I think it's the same thing with mommy and daddy. Is when you tell kids in kindergarten about mommy and daddy, then you'll see an uptick in kindergarteners saying they have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you should talk about that really. But I think what kids need to learn early on is the importance of mommy and daddy, and and that's not to say like daddy and daddy aren't important, right? Like there are they're their own individual humans. They have value to them. All of that. Like, I'm on the side of gay marriage should be legal, which might be controversial in like the conservative sphere, right? Which I'd love to talk with like Mark about. But I'm on that side, and while they do have their own individual value, there is a certain value of heterosexual relationships that homosexual relationships just cannot compare to.
What is that value?
Okay, so obviously, like I said, kids, right?
Hmm.
The also the thing of multiple studies have shown you need a father figure and a you need a father figure and a mother figure to be. Did I say that right? You need a father figure and a mother.
Mother figure of feminine, masculine
Yeah, like
influences.
that, right? And so it's been proven time and time again that they are the best at it. It's not like homosexual people are incapable of doing it,
You're
not
talking
at
about
all.
raising children right now, just to be clear, right?
Yes, right. Just yeah, they're I'm genetically they're just better at it, right?
Okay.
Uh, yeah. I mean, those are the main things that I'd say. Yeah.
Okay. So what I have is that you believe that talking about homosexual relationships and normalizing it is making more kids become or think that or at least experiment with the idea of homosexuality. It's not necessarily kids going out and having sex with same-sex couples. I would imagine that is not what you're saying.
No.
They're just like, oh, instead of the little boy going up to the little girl saying you're my girlfriend, he's now going up to little boys and saying you're my boyfriend more often than the past. You didn't really give me a reason why you didn't like that. Because yeah, you kind of said that it's about the same. So,
Because it muddles the differences between, or how do I say this? It muddles the differences. Or yeah, I guess just like what I said before, it gives the wrong impression that they have the same value, that they are of the same value.
okay, so what you're telling me right now is that gay relationships are not as valuable as homosexual relationships. Therefore, or no, as heterosexual relationships. Therefore, we shouldn't normalize being gay to children, um, because one's more valuable than the other.
I wouldn't. I'm saying valuable. I think I would use a different word, but my vocabulary is too limited. Maybe not valuable, more of not. I guess important. Maybe it's not to say that one should be like held of a higher. Or no, I think that is what I'm saying. Actually, is one should be held of a higher value than the other, or one is more important than the other. That doesn't mean the other is not important. It just means one is more important than the other.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm repeating things a lot.
No, you're
I
fine.
woke up super early today. I
You're fine.
usually wake up at like 11, but I woke up at like 6.
Okay. So, and the reason why one is more important than the other in your mind is because one can make babies, and you have this idea that you need a mother figure or father figure in the house in order to properly raise children.
Yes.
So what I would say to that is that I don't think that we should make our decisions on what we're normalizing to our kids based off of what is going to produce offspring sometime in the future. I think that we should make our decisions about what we normalize to kids based around what's going to be better than for the kids themselves. And for homosexual kids and heterosexual kids alike, it is probably better to normalize acceptance of people who are different than you than it is to try and make one type of person out to be more important than the other. Um,
Okay. My bad.
the second thing is you said there are studies that shows time and time again that you need a mother and a father in a household. That's where you get the best results. I am not aware of any studies that specifically say you need a mother and a father. What I am aware of is studies that say that two-parent households are better for child rearing, which I think is kind of like an undisputed fact at this point. However, I have seen no studies that have suggested differences in quality of life for heterosexual versus homosexual relationships. I would actually kind of guess that homosexual relationships tend to get better results because you got to meet a certain threshold in order to adopt as a homosexual couple.
Okay, so I want to talk about your first point where
Okay.
you said you think it's better to normalize what is best for the children, right?
Yes.
What is best for we shouldn't base it off of what is going to produce more offspring,
Yes.
but rather what will make them happier. Is that what you said?
Exactly.
Okay, so we've also found through multiple different studies that as a feminine person, you will find more happiness in a masculine person and vice versa. If you are a masculine person, you will find more happiness in having a feminine partner, right? And so women tend to have more feminine features, men tend to have more masculine features. That tends to more happiness, right? And the thing is I I think there's something I'm trying to say. I can't get it out of my mouth. But I think that teaching children, right, about homosexual relationships, I think it can be a good and a bad thing at the same time. Like, you can tell your child, right, some people have two dads, that's fine, don't treat them any differently. But there's a difference between telling them, like, I don't know, something like, I don't know, he has a dad and it's just the same thing as mommy and daddy. Or he has two dads and it is the exact same as mommy and daddy, right? Like there is no differences. And that doesn't mean to treat them any differently. It means that there are differences though.
Okay, so you said that you can tell a child that he has two daddies,
Yeah,
but you
and
can't
you can
can't tell them that they're the same as if he had a mommy and daddy.
no, I wouldn't say that it's I wouldn't tell okay, let me reframe. I wouldn't tell the child like I wouldn't tell the child that I'm speaking to that let's say his friend Mark, right? He has two dads.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say don't tell him that don't here. I have to assign names to everyone, okay? So we're talking to our kid Timothy, and he has a friend named Mark. Mark has two daddies. Timothy has a daddy and a mommy. You and me are the daddy of Timothy, okay? Like we are one person.
Oh,
Mark.
hold on. You're under 18, right? We are not gonna
This is
we are
purely
not going look.
hypothetical.
We're not gonna pretend to be two daddies to anything.
No,
If you
no,
are
I'm
under
not
it,
saying that. I'm
uh,
saying we're in the
um,
first person view of
yeah.
Timothy's dad is what I'm
Oh, okay. I took over the body
No,
of
yeah, no, not
Timothy said.
okay, not like that. No, not like that. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we are looking in the first person view of Timothy's dad, and we can speak to Timothy.
Okay,
And
okay,
Timothy has
gotcha,
a
gotcha.
friend. Yeah, Timothy has a friend named Mark, and Mark has two daddies, and their names is Bob and Bob and Bob and Billy. Bob and Billy. So we have Bob and Billy,
Good old
Mark.
Billy Bob.
Yeah. We have Billy, Bob, Mark, and Timothy. And so talking to Timothy, I wouldn't tell him that you should I would tell him to treat Mark the same. That while it's a hard thing because I don't know how to talk to a kid because I don't really talk to kids. Um, I guess if I okay, yeah. I mean, I would tell him that treat Mark the same, right? That doesn't mean there are any differences, and I wouldn't tell Timothy that because then he would have this image in his mind where there are differences that aren't what he's thinking of, right? Like there are differences that change whether or not he should treat Mark differently, which isn't the case. Is you should tell him to treat him the same, but you should not tell him that they are the same thing. That you and your wife are the exact same as Billy Bob, right? That
Hmm.
doesn't mean don't tell him that, but also don't fucking hell. Don't tell him that there are differences because I think he'll take that the wrong way because he's a kid and kids are stupid. But at the same time, wait, don't tell him that there are not differences. At the same time, do not tell him that there are differences because I think both ends of the spectrum would probably make him do something stupid.
You think so? Okay.
I honestly think so, yeah.
So if I had a kid and I was with a woman and we had a kid and they were in let's just say second grade and they came up to me and said that Mark has two dads,
He has
Billy
Billy
Bob.
Bob.
He
Yeah.
has Billy Bob. If I were to tell my kid, yeah, that's a thing that happens sometimes. Would that be a big deal to you?
I the thing is I'm fine with parents raising their kids how they want.
Okay, what if I
I
was a
think the
teacher?
problem comes down to teachers. It depends on what the parents think.
So am I supposed to call the parents and be like, "Look, we have this kid named Mark. He has two dads, and your daughter's asking me about them." What am I supposed to say to your child?
I think I don't think you should call the parents. I think it should be something that's discussed before school opens. Because that happens sometimes, right? Or you have school meetings and you discuss things. I think that should be something. You
Who's
have school
discussing?
meetings. Huh?
Who's discussing these things? Who's having this discussion?
If I'm not wrong, the school board and the parents of children, right? Or
So
are
like
they
a school
students?
board meeting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't know the name. I'm sorry. Yeah, school
So
board meeting, whatever they're called.
what if little Cynthia's parents didn't attend the school board meeting? We have no idea what they would want. Do we have to send out like waivers with them stating their preference?
I think it would be hard to see whether. I think it would be very unlikely for a parent not to go, especially considering it's such a, a controversial topic and parents probably want to weigh in. But if they don't go, if no one goes, if no parent weighs in, then I would just go with the thing of just teach them whatever's in your book, right? If it says to teach them, if it says to teach them about homosexual relationships in what is it, grade school or elementary? That's what
Well,
I thought.
the hypothetical
Elementary,
was second grade, and I highly doubt there's a
second grade.
book on what to do
Well,
in these
not book,
situations.
but like being told like no, there's definitely a
There's probably a
like footprints
policy
that you're
that
supposed to follow.
yeah, there's probably a policy that they have to follow in certain situations, but I'm going to be real with you. I do not think that Mark's dad having two daddies being mentioned in the classroom is a thing that policy covers because I think that to most people, this is just not a big deal.
Wait, so you wouldn't tell children at all about homosexual relationships?
No, no, what I'm saying is that the idea that a teacher were to tell a student, "Oh yeah, Mark's got two dads," that's not a big deal.
Yeah,
The
I
idea
don't
that the
think you
teacher's
should
saying
tell
that,
the student that out of the blue, 100% not.
well, it would be some, yeah, of course. I think that a lot of these discussions would be really weird for a teacher just start out of the blue. Usually, these things are prompted some way or another by the student, and
That's what I thought we were talking about. Like, if a student comes up and asks about these things, like maybe
yeah,
he saw it somewhere and he
yeah.
asked the teacher about it.
Yeah, so if Mark's two dads came in and gave Mark his lunchbox or gave Mark a birthday cake, um, because it was his birthday to share with the class, and one of the students came up to the teacher and said, "What? Why were those two guys? Where's Mark's mom?" And he was like, "Well, Mark's got two dads, and it's not a big deal." I don't think that many parents would actually have a problem with that.
And yet, saying that is, yeah, I wouldn't really have a problem with that.
Yeah, and so I highly doubt there's even like a policy that's dictating what to do in that situation.
Oh yeah, I don't think so. I think most situations where a student comes up, teachers are supposed to just go by whatever they think is best.
Well, I mean, if a teacher thinks, "Oh yeah, Mark's got two dads and they have sex in their bedroom every night," um, by putting the one thing in the butthole, I would think that that would be a lot of people would have a problem with that, even if that's what the teacher thought was appropriate at the time. So
I think it would be pretty inappropriate to tell a
yeah,
student what another student's parents are doing in a bedroom. Yeah.
so there's limits on these things. Um,
Yeah, that's the thing is I'm having a hard time of drawing a line because I've heard the the I don't know what is it, Democrat side and the Republican side, right? Is yeah.
mhm,
I've heard both sides. I'm still trying to decide what I think.
yeah.
And what's hard for me is deciding what is right for, or deciding what is morally okay with me, but what also makes sense in like in terms of just like having a conversation of which one is actually, or I don't know how to frame it. I'm trying to figure out what applies to me morally, but what also makes sense to other people and what I can describe and how. Fuck. I don't think you're knowing what I'm saying, but I'm trying to figure out what's morally okay for me, what I think is okay morally, and I'm also trying to figure out if that same idea that I have would make sense in a conversation with my student or a teacher or, anyone else just talking about it. I'm trying to figure out if that would just hold true, if it would make sense logically, I guess.
So you're saying that you're trying to figure out where your morals lie, but also if your morals are logically consistent.
Yeah, that's kind of yeah, that tends to be what I have opinions on.
Okay. Like if your morals would make the class like, so I think that this, like I said, I think this whole conversation is something that most normal people don't even think about on the day to day.
Yeah. On the conversation with the kids, or just like the debate,
Um,
whether
whether or
or not
not teachers are going around, for lack of better words, um, grooming their kids.
Yeah, I don't really think that's something. I think that's things that Republican people tend to focus on a lot more than, you know, Democratic people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I need to get some sleep. I'll get off.
Fuck, I forgot. Ah, I forgot about Mold Breaker. All right, I'm done. All right, yeah, you go get some sleep. I probably.
I don't have to sleep now.
Oh my gosh, I hate life and everything that has to do with it.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem is I don't I haven't really focused on this issue very much. So
Uh-huh.
I mean I'm assuming that when I come back to this, I'm gonna say a lot of stupid things, which I'm assuming I already have said a lot of very, very stupid things that I probably won't agree with in the future. But I mean that I think that's the fun of debate is to find out where your morals lie and it really makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I don't really talk about this very much. I talk about more like a what is it? I guess more streamlined things.
Mainstream?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess this is pretty mainstream, but I tend to focus on talks, um, mostly like abortion, guns, transgender people, right? Just stuff like that, I guess. I don't really think they fit in a certain category, but I tend to focus on those things more.
Yeah. Well, if he confuses me and gets confusion hacks. Wait, you said transgender and guns?
No, like transgender issues
Uh-huh.
guns.
Oh,
I guess.
okay.
Two different things, yeah. I don't know how you would transgender a gun, but I'd be happy to see how.
Wasn't what we were just talking about? Oh wait, no, we weren't talking about trans issues just now. We were talking about
Like LGBTQ talk in the class.
yeah. Trans issues is actually not as mainstream as you think it is. It's really only the
Republicans.
yeah, that's obsessed. That is absolutely obsessed.
I would say somewhat. In terms of like getting news from both sides, I think both sides tend to cover the issue a lot.
Maybe.
Because I most of my news feed is I'll click on left-leaning things a lot, not really right-leaning things, because I like to see what they talk about. But I'll get a lot of articles about, you know, or I guess it's just like Democrats shitting on Republicans and Republicans shitting on Democrats for their views on the issue.
Yeah.
Mostly what it is, which is true with everything, I guess.
Yeah.
In terms of like
Well, he's got Focus Blast, and he hits.
things too.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
In terms of like who thinks of the issue more, I think it definitely ranks Republicans tend to think of it more. Democrats tend to accept it as like a normal thing of life, or like a norm.
Yeah.
Republicans still definitely consider it an anomaly. I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but it's definitely not normal for them.
Yeah. Okay. I got.
Base King. Base King joined.
Oh, what's up, Base? Is he just choice scarfed?
Hi. Yeah, I hear you.
I hate everything. I hate everything.
He lost. He horribly lost in a debate with me.
Oh yeah,
He was
definitely.
Absolutely humiliated.
Has nothing to do with this Pokemon game that I'm playing. That I'm also horribly losing in.
Have you seen that thing of Ben Shapiro where he posted this thing on Twitter and he says like, my producers dragged me to go see the Barbie movie. Tomorrow I will post a 45-minute video destroying the Barbie movie. Have you seen that, Cluck?
I have not. Ben Shapiro's a
You
joke.
haven't.
I'm
really?
sorry, he's a joke. Why did he do that?
I don't know, but it's so funny to me. And I watched like the first 5 minutes of the video and I was just laughing my ass off because he burnt Barbies.
Did you see the Barbie movie?
And no, I have not.
My friend says it's really good.
Yeah.
But did you see Sound of Freedom yet?
No, I have not. I haven't seen either. I haven't seen a movie in a long time in theaters.
Oh. Yeah.
I haven't really ever seen a controversial movie at all, so.
When's the last controversial movie before this one?
For like Sound of Freedom?
Before Sound of Freedom, what was the last controversial one?
I don't know. I'm assuming there are a few, but before that, I probably wasn't really involved in politics at all.
I don't keep up with
sure
what
there was
people.
something.
I don't keep up with what people are freaking out over.
Well, I guess there are a lot of movies. I kind of assumed Woman King would get kind of big in like
Little
the
Mermaid.
politics,
That's
or
what it
did
was.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Little Mermaid, the Black Little Mermaid
Yeah.
made the people go crazy.
Yeah.
You know what's really okay? So I had a friend She's a mixed girl. She has a cousin who is black.
Okay.
She grew up with the original Little Mermaid, and
Uh-huh.
when she saw that there was a black Little Mermaid, she was super excited. She was super excited to take her little cousin. And the thing that she said to me was, "Ain't nobody gonna tell her that she can't be a mermaid." And I just thought that that was so wholesome and sweet, and like, just like, why are people making a big deal? Yeah, it's lazy. They made Little Mermaid but made her black. It's really, really lazy. Don't get. I understand that, but I don't understand why so many people made a big deal about that. And it seemed like, at least in my personal life, it made it was an exciting thing for a person in my life.
Okay, so I could talk about this a bit. I don't really think it's as big as a deal as people made it out to be.
Hmm.
Um, I thought it was stupid though, as you said. I thought it was really lazy, and I thought it was scummy. And it's not
You think it's,
because
hold on, so scummy? You're gonna have to explain that one.
yeah, I was gonna talk about that.
Okay.
So not in the idea of, oh, black people in the media, they're overrunning white people, blah blah blah, just like some old 90-year-old MAGA guy would say, or some shit like that. I think it's scummy because instead of doing something original like Black Panther was an incredibly good movie. It was super good. It's probably one of my favorite Marvel movies, and I really hate Marvel, so that's saying something. But instead of doing that, they just took someone that was already famous and made him black. I mean, it feels like more of a slap in the face to, I guess, black people, right? I it kind of seems like to me, instead of saying like, oh, you can get popular by making your own original characters that were made black and they can become popular on their own, like Black Panther. It's, oh no, we have to take an already popular white figure and make him black. Like, I mean, that just seems like a slap in the face to me. And I think it's wrong in any case whatsoever to change the skin color of a character, not because like I think it's like racist or anything. I think it's like a slap in the face. Again, I think it's scummy because the reason why they're doing it probably is just to make money. I don't think they care at all about, I mean they probably do, like the people at Disney, but it was definitely a money making move. And yeah, I just thought it was really, really scummy, and I thought it was really rude for them to do that.
What do you think, Base King? You give your opinions
About what?
about Black
About
Black
Little
Little
Mermaid.
Mermaid.
I kind
Black.
of agree. I think it was like, I don't care either way. I think it was. I mean, they didn't. I don't know. I can see people get annoyed with it because it's part of that whole culture war thing about, oh, we got to turn every character black or minority on and stuff. That's just me. I can see how people like it, and I can see how people like roll their eyes at it because it seems like it's just virtue signaling. Yeah, I don't know, that's just my thing.
Okay. So my opinion is that when they turn, here are some problems I have with this whole phenomenon of people virtue signaling, like Base King said, with minority characters. One is, it can be really lazy. I think The Little Mermaid was lazy. I think that advertising, well, I think first of all, turning animated movies into live action movies is lazy. Is
Yeah,
one point of
that's true.
laziness.
Mm.
I don't want a Lilo and Stitch live action. That's my favorite Disney cartoon. I don't want a Lilo and Stitch live action, and
Oh yeah, me
I'm glad they
neither.
they trashed it because of the writer's strike.
Wait, they trashed it?
Yeah, they stopped making it
Oh, what
because of
Oh.
the
about the
writer's strike.
Moana one?
It's like the best thing to come out of the writer's strike, to be honest. Fuck workers' rights. Them getting
Are,
rid of Lilo and Stitch, best thing to come
Well,
out of the writer's strike.
yeah, make sure they don't write ever again.
are they
But
still doing the Moana one?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so that's one point. The second point is that if you are doing a movie, redoing a movie just so you can have minority representation in it, that's also lazy. However, I think that there can be um, value gained from something like that. Um, because of my experience with my friend who was super excited about the movie, super excited to share the Little Mermaid experience with her cousin, but have that mermaid look like her. That's a thing that I think that many people who have my skin color really take for granted, that people who don't have my skin color, maybe not you, Base King, maybe this is a thing that just you don't care about at all, but I've heard enough of people who talk about this thing to come to the conclusion that this is a thing that's in the minds of a lot of people with brown skin. So I think that there is
Mhm.
value in having that kind of representation. I do not think that Disney really cares about that representation. They do only care about making the money, and having that kind of representation is where the money is right now. So that's what they do.
So
Ultimately, I think Black Little Mermaid was probably a good thing. Um,
so it was like you think it was scummy, but it led up to something
no,
that
no,
was
no.
ultimately good.
I think it was lazy, not scummy.
Lazy.
I think
Okay,
it was lazy.
you thought it was
Okay.
something that was lazy done by the Disney people, I guess. You thought it
Just to
was
make
something
money.
lazy done by the Disney people just to make money, but ultimately it ended up being something that benefited a lot of people.
I think so.
Okay,
I
so
think
one thing I also want to talk about is I a lot of people are saying how like a lot of kids like to see their own skin color movies, and that's something I just want to get rid of.
Hmm.
Not kids seeing their own skin color, but just the idea that in order to like someone, they have to be the same skin color as you. And for Halloween, I I dressed up as Finn from Star Wars because he was freaking cool. I didn't care that he was black. I didn't really care if they are white or if they're black or if they're Asian
Did
because
you go
little kids don't
blackface?
notice things like that. Yeah, I went full blackface. I did everything,
Oh my
makeup.
goodness.
Yep.
well, I have to, well, I have to add to something
I just had
like,
like a little plastic gun and an
oh my
outfit. That was
god.
really it. But I mean, that's the thing is I don't want kids thinking like in order to like someone they have to be the same skin color as you. In the Hispanic community, especially, they like Dragon Ball Z, and I
Yeah,
know a
that's a good
few.
point.
Uh,
Look at
yeah,
anime,
and Dragon Ball Z, those characters, they are not Hispanic, they are not Mexican, they are not at all the same skin color, but they're badass, dude. They're cool, and
yeah.
so I think it's a it's not the especially what a lot of Democrats like to say, right? Is children don't recognize skin color, and a lot of people, I'll hear a lot of people say that. Maybe you don't say that, Cluck, but like I'll hear, I think I heard a few people say it that are definitely Democrats, and so it makes no sense for you to say that and then also say that kids need if there's a black kid they need a black superhero, if there's a white kid they need a white superhero. I don't really give a crap about the skin color of the superhero. I care whether or not the kids like them, not based on their skin color, but whether or not they're cool, if they have good values, stuff like that.
Okay. Did you have something based?
Yeah, I like to add on. I guess I can see your point with Lib saying, "Oh, they like to see themselves," to a certain extent. But like, I do agree with just look at the number of people. I'm glad you mentioned Dragon Ball Z and anime. Like, you see so many different colors. People being into anime, which is what Japanese. Their characters are all Japanese, and it's like people really dress like them, do this, and they see these people as heroes. I don't. I can see both sides. It's like, but also I get annoyed. Like the one thing I get annoyed with today is like they act as if there haven't been representation of minorities ever or something. Like with the whole Black Panther thing, people's acting like this is the first black superhero when there's plenty of other superheroes before him. And it's like they're out there, but some people are just too lazy not to look for them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I was saying.
So which black superhero made the big screen before Black Panther?
I guess Blade.
That's true. He is. He
Like,
was a black superhero, and he
that
made
was
it pretty
like,
big.
I was thinking it was 98.
Yeah.
Man, that was really
But
early.
that was like a generation before, like the generation that watched Blade. which were either really, really young when Blade came out, if they watched it, and much older when Black Panther came out. So I would say that Blade was probably my father's generation, and Black Panther was more my generation.
Oh, okay.
So
I guess you could say Rogue and X-Men. What else? Not Rogue. I mean, not Rogue. Storm. Oh, God, I get them. Sorry. Storm. Almost. I got it right. Okay.
The best black superhero, hands down, is Static Shock, and nobody can tell me any different. Anyways,
Oh.
I played that guy like a Marvel.
No,
um,
he wasn't with Marvel. He wasn't. No, he's DC.
There
He
was
was DC.
some guy like that in Marvel where he had like shock shit. He was cool.
Black
Forget
Light. I
what
think
he
his name
was
is
though.
Black Lightning, isn't it? Isn't it called Black Lightning?
Nah,
I
it
think it
was
might. I think that
something.
might be. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But
I used to-
Static. I think Static Shock was independent, and I think he joined the DC comics.
Yeah, Static Shock is DC. Black
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Lightning.
don't know. It was something like that. I don't know.
Black Lightning, Jefferson Pierce is a superhero appearing in American comic books. Oh, he's also a DC.
He's
Never mind.
DC?
There is some cool guy in Lego Marvel superheroes I used to play a lot, but I forget who.
What is
It
with
was like a lightning guy.
DC and pairing black people with lightning powers?
I don't know. It must be
It's a
shocking.
racist idea that black people are fast and lightning is fast. They're
No, what
racist. That's no.
Okay. Anyways, you said that you don't think the kids should think that a character needs to look like them in order to like the character. That's not what this is about. Kids liking the characters. Of course, you can like whatever character you want. And having the color of the skin doesn't ever really change whether or not somebody's going to like the character. The point in representation was that for a very long time in this country, and this isn't as true now as it was in the past, but for a very long time in this country, the mass majority of black representation that was shown in media was negative representation. It was the thug, it was the gangster, it was the drug dealer, it was the murderer, the bad guy. And recently that has started changing and people are celebrating it. Some people are very lazy with the way in which they do this. And some people are much better in the way in which they do this. So Black Panther would be a good example of this being done well. Have y'all ever seen that show? Ah, fuck, what was it called? It's a Disney Plus show.
Oh, the one of the cartoon kids, and they're talking about like slavery on it.
No, it's the Egyptian one.
Oh no, no clue.
Oh, wait.
Fuck.
Egyptian.
But I look it up.
Were they Egyptian?
Egyptian Disney Plus show.
What's it called? Let's see.
Lost Treasures of Egypt.
No, it's called Moon Knight.
Oh. No, I didn't see that, but I heard about it.
Okay. There is a line in this show that is the cringiest line I've ever heard in
Alright, let's
any
hear
of these. Hold on. Actually, yeah, let's actually pull this up. I'm gonna pull this up.
Okay.
Okay.
Why was it just like just cringe? It was like, oh
Oh,
god.
it's so
this is
cringe.
disgusting. Okay,
Yeah.
do you think I'll find it cringe?
Yes.
Okay. let's see.
Is it? Am I gonna get DMCA'd by Disney?
Not if you play more than a few seconds.
Alright.
Just don't play the whole show like fucking XQC.
Alright, how do I share this? I guess I could share it through Discord.
Discord, yeah. Or you could just tell us, honestly.
No. Y'all gotta see this in
We
order
have to see it? Okay, we have to hear the delivery.
You have to see this in order to appreciate it. Okay.
bet.
Can I share my desktop?
Yeah, I see your camera. That is not your desktop.
Yeah, I'm looking for how to do the desktop.
You want me to share my screen in order to show you
Yeah,
how to
bet
share your
that.
screen?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Share your screen. I got it. Right here. Go live.
There
Alright, there we go.
Alright, here we go. Egyptian superhero.
Alright, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me know. Can y'all hear this? Your stream is still running. We've paused preview.
Yeah, I can hear it. It's a bit quiet, but yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
All right, shh, 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 shh.
En si superhero mostraya?
Damn, it was in Spanish. Fuck. But did y'all see the subtitles?
Yeah.
Literally, the little girl says, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" And the girl says, "I am." What the fuck was that? What was that writing?
That was cringe and that was stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to say is I think in order to reinforce my point of I think it's stupid that kids have to look up to like whatever. I have to say that I think the terms black and white and Asian should be demolished entirely. I don't care. I don't think race should. And
Race abolitionist over here.
I-
Wait, hold on.
if that's like a bad or a good thing, but I think it's ridiculous
Um,
to classify someone based on the color of their skin.
I'm going
I
to
don't
test
like
you
that.
on this. I'm going to test you on
Okay,
this.
go for it. Go for it.
If they made Black Little Mermaid and didn't make a big deal about the fact that she was black, and nobody made a big deal about the fact that she was black, would it bother you?
What do you mean that people what?
Like if
Everyone was a Democrat and they didn't care, like if there are no Republicans on Earth.
no, so if they made Black Little Mermaid and nobody, it was just another movie with a character, with an actress that they thought would do well in the role, and the idea that this is Black Little Mermaid wasn't even a thing. Would you care that she was black at the time? That they chose a black person?
Wait, how does this differ from like the real world and when this actually happened?
Well, a
It's
lot of
just no one cared.
well, yeah, a lot of people made a big deal about it. The left was celebrating it. The right was railing against it. If none of that happened,
My opinion doesn't weigh on whether or not people make a big deal out of it. I don't care if you don't think it's a big deal. I might think it's a big deal. You might think it's a big deal. I might think it's no deal at all, you know? I think it's stupid. Just because Disney, I think they're reinforcing the idea that blacks and whites are different. And I think that's so stupid. I
So-
think they're going against what
But
they're
wouldn't
trying
it
to do.
Like, well, wouldn't it be still keep on? Well, I don't know. The origin of the story was not black anyway. The Little Mermaid, I think, is European.
yeah. What I am trying to say is, should Disney have set out a memo and said, "We are casting for Little Mermaid. You have to be white, red hair, a redhead white girl," or should they have sent out a memo saying, "We're casting for Little Mermaid," and just chose whoever they thought was the best Little Mermaid, regardless of skin color?
If there is no Little Mermaid before and they weren't doing an exact movie of it, I don't care what the skin color is. If you're making a new character, I don't give a shit. Make her black, make her white. I don't care if she's a black mermaid. I don't care if she's a white mermaid. Just don't make white mermaids black and don't make black mermaids white. I think that's stupid.
Why? If race doesn't matter, why would it matter if the race changes between one medium to another?
Here's the thing is, I wish that we would just forget about it, but the thing is we don't.
Yeah.
So
So, that's why I gave you the hypothetical. You could say, yeah, I actually don't care that they made Little Mermaid black. What I didn't like was all the cringe. Oh my goodness, this is so great, or all
Did
the
you hear that
cringe.
song in the movie though?
Oh, I don't know.
That awful song. It was like this is completely unrelated, and I'm sorry for interrupting, but it was so bad. It was like I forget what it was, but it was so bad. I'll pull it up and I'll play it later.
Was it as bad as Peachy 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 Peachy?
No, it was way worse. I think that Peaches song was overhyped, but this
Everybody
one was-
loved that song, and it made me hate it.
Yeah, same thing with any song that is like overhyped. I hate like that Bruno one. I hate that.
Oh,
song
I
so
actually
much.
like "There's Something About Bruno,"
Oh,
but
screw you!
but,
I hate that song now.
okay. So no, what I'm saying is,
Uh-huh.
okay.
I
So
think I know
you
what mean
care.
is
You
is
care.
You're saying that you're saying that I'm saying that I don't care about race, but yet I'm upset that they changed the race of a mermaid.
Exactly.
And that, okay. So like I was saying is I wish we did live in a world like that, and I think that's what everyone thinks of, and that's what I'm striving to do is where people don't like make a big deal out of blacks or whites or Asians, where you don't have to include, oh, that black guy over there. You can just say like that tall guy over there. And this might be like a I don't know what political side this view is on, but that's what I think, right? The problem is when you change the race of a character, you are making a big deal out of race. Because what's the point of changing them? You're making a deal out of it. If you're making a white person black, and you're making this big deal out of it, oh, like, look at this black Little Mermaid, like, oh, she's black, then you're reinforcing the idea that blacks and whites are different.
But
And that's
what if
ridiculous.
they just hired the black girl because she did a really good job at the rehearsal,
That's the thing,
audition.
is that's definitely not what
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
doing.
No, I know that's not what they're doing. I'm giving you a hypothetical world where they just put out a casting call to every girl who ever wanted to play the Little Mermaid, and this woman who just killed it in the auditions just so happened to be black or brown or Hispanic or whatever.
Is this in the world we're living in right now, or
No,
like my perfect
this
world?
is like a hypothetical world where
Okay, well,
when
I have to like. It depends.
okay, so it seems
It
to me
depends on
like
whether or not that people do care about race,
yeah,
or at least recognize it as something different.
yeah, so it seems to me okay, but in this world, people aren't making a big deal about this being a black Little Mermaid at all. Like they're just like, oh my gosh, they did a live action Little Mermaid.
In that world, do people say like black people or white people or Asian people? Do they say that in that world?
Not about this movie.
Well, in that world in general, do they?
Maybe about other things, but not in this movie.
Well, then, yeah, I would consider it a big
Okay,
deal.
okay,
Not a big deal, but I'd say it's stupid.
it's stupid. Okay.
Yeah.
Because like okay, so so my position stems off of this idea that race does have an effect on people's lives, and I think
Hmm.
that having a black Little Mermaid had a positive effect on some black people's lives. Whereas your position seems to stem from this idea that race does have impact on people's lives and society. I should have added that for the first part too, society. But it's stupid because of this impact. It's stupid that they did this thing where they switched it from white to black.
Okay, I have a wait. What was that, a question?
No, that was a statement.
Okay, so could I ask you a question?
Sure.
So, all right, so you say that like little kids, they'll be happy or sad depending on what their favorite character's race is, right?
I so
Do you
you're
think
asking
children like
me.
recognize race as their favorite characters, and that depends whether or not they're happy or sad?
No, I don't think that they would recognize. I don't think that the race of well, hold on a second. Let me think about that. Okay, I heard an anecdote about a little boy who loved Spider-Man. Um, Peter Parker.
Hmm.
And it was a black boy. He loved Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and he went into a comic book store and saw the Miles Morales Spider-Man, and he was so excited because there was a Spider-Man that looked like him. Now I don't know if that anecdote is true. I would have to talk to. I would probably have to talk to like my black friends about that kind of thing,
Okay, so
or
so
maybe get some statistics or studies.
if little kids see one of their characters become someone that looks like them, then that would make them like happy, right?
Possibly, yeah.
So what about a white little girl who loves the Little Mermaid, but all of a sudden she's black and she doesn't look like her anymore?
She's still got the white one.
Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But the thing is
The old one doesn't
they're
go away.
changing it though. That's the thing, is they're changing it. Yeah, the old thing doesn't go away, but the new thing definitely sticks there.
Oh, well,
Is
actually, I would argue that the new one probably isn't going to stick as hard as the old one because
well,
it,
yeah. I'm just saying, like,
it's not the original.
if a little girl sees her favorite character who looks just like her turned into someone that doesn't look like her,
Oh, you know
you
what?
don't think that would make her
Do
less happy?
do you know? Actually, this was a controversy for not skin color, but redheads. Um,
Oh yeah,
people were
I've
there
seen
were a
that.
lot of women who were pissed, not because she went from black to white, but because she wasn't a natural redhead
Yeah, I heard of
anymore.
that.
I think
Yeah.
that's just kind of stupid and immersion breaking. I don't know.
I've
I'm not a
heard of
redhead, so I couldn't
yeah,
say.
I've heard of that. People getting pissed off with them taking the famous redheads, and turning them something else. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really in the redhead sphere, so I couldn't really say.
Well, we all have souls.
Yeah. Wait, you're a redhead?
Me? No.
No,
Oh,
you have like brown hair, right?
Yeah.
oh. Okay.
Um. Okay.
But
Uh,
yeah, you don't think that would make the kid like less happy, right?
um. Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. But like that phenomenon which you are describing is something that black children, at least in early 2000s and 90s and below, early 2000s and before, was like dealing with for their entire lives.
Okay, so I kind of want to touch on this topic a bit, but it might get like I don't know, we might be sticking on it for a while. But the thing is I don't think children care about race until you tell them about race. The thing is I don't think a white girl would care if a white Little Mermaid turned into a black Little Mermaid. I don't really think a black little girl would care if a white Little Mermaid becomes a black Little Mermaid. Like naturally, I don't think they would. However, if their parents tell them, like they always bring up blacks and whites and Asians, and I think they would. And the parents are always talking about, oh, this person looks just like you or whatever. Then I think they will see something different with it. Is I don't think it's natural for children who are raised around people who look different from them to like separate people into groups based on their skin color. I don't think that's natural at all until a parent tells them like about it and they make a big deal out of it.
If a little boy is seeing people that look like him depicted solely as gangster thugs, criminals, um, do you think that has any effect on his idea of what he's supposed to be or how he's supposed to act?
And how he no, I don't think it would, no. And the thing is based on like how you look is I don't think people base on or nowadays I'd say people do is people nowadays ba- how do I say this? People nowadays consider people who look like them to be the same skin color as them. But I think definitely for actually maybe probably actually less with older generations, but at least with me and for kids who weren't really raised around the idea of blacks and whites and Asians and Mexicans and blah 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 is I think you base more on how on how similar someone is to you based on like how tall they are, how skinny they are, how big they are. And here's the thing with like movies and stuff is they don't have to look like you in order to be cool. Like a lot of kids really like superheroes who are big and buff. That doesn't mean they're big and buff and therefore they look the same and therefore they like each other.
Well,
It is the is I understand also that like definitely I guess like being big and buff is different from being, black or white. But that's the thing is I don't really think children care about whether or not they look like them. I think it's more based on whether or not they're cool.
well, the issue is, well, those issues that you brought up are representation issues that get brought up all the time. Like one of the problems with men's images is that heroes tend to be big and buff, so guys who are skinny do not feel they feel inadequate. I can attest to this as a boy who grew up really skinny. It made me feel shitty about my body for a very long time. Um, the whole Little Mermaid thing with the redheads, that was like an actual thing that people cared about. Um, Fat representation in media, having positive fat representation for fat people, saying that you don't have to be defined by the fact that you're fat. That's kind of a big deal, and in media, all those things are big deals that people talk about.
Okay, so I'd say I think I made a mistake by saying by comparing a child looking at a white or black superhero compared to them looking at a buff or a lean superhero. I think those are two completely different things. race and like physical properties or like
Yeah,
you know
they're
how big or
different.
small you are. I think they are different.
They're different, but
Uh,
they're both things that people do care about.
yeah, I mean the thing is I don't think just because you see a big superhero, that's what makes you feel bad about your body. I don't think that's why. I think it's people around you telling you that your body isn't okay.
Yeah.
And the thing is about fat representation, what we have to talk about is I don't think you can compare that to, you know, the Black Little Mermaid debacle because I think most people would agree that skin color doesn't really make a difference in who you are. Um, there are disparities between people of different skin colors, but I think that's mostly from culture and where they're raised, which we could talk about later if you want to. But I think most people would agree that skin color doesn't really play a role in who you become, right? The thing with being fat or big or skinny or lean or whatever, that does play a role in who you become. I don't think it's a bad thing to be black or white or Asian or Hispanic or blah 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 blah. I think it is definitely better to be buff rather than fat or skinny. And that's not to say that like you're a bad person, but I think it'd be better if you know you were more healthy and stuff like that. And I'm definitely not a healthy person. I'll just say that right now.
Yeah. Well, I had a question. Would you compare people showing, I guess, fat, big, bigger models to like? I guess I remember people used to complain back in maybe the '90s and early 2000s that they kept on having models that were anorexic, and
Mm.
they were giving a bad, they were sending a bad message to young girls.
Yep.
Would you make the same argument towards them showing bigger models now?
Um.
I don't know really. Oh wait, were you asking that to me or Cluck or?
Anybody, I guess. Anybody. I don't know.
I mean, I would say I don't really know what they're talking about in the 90s. I was born like late 2000s, so I don't
Well, they was complaining about them showing models that were
just like they were
exactly
saying like
that
it.
were really skinny, that were really really skinny.
Yeah. Okay. I would say
Yeah.
that I don't really think they're again, I want to make this clear and like what I think is I don't think it makes a difference whether or not you show a person that is different from you. I don't think that makes a difference. I think there's a difference in what people are telling you. That if you know one is better than the other. If you're telling anorexic people like I've heard around a bit, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but anorexic people tend to get like definitely they're treated like harder than other people just because you know that they can't do certain things that other people can is I think that plays a much much bigger role than just showing
Wait.
a
Hold on. Do you know what anorexia is?
I, I'm like 99% sure, yeah.
Okay.
Like
What is it?
anorexia.
Yeah. This isn't a gotcha. I just want to make sure you know
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
is
it's
before.
it's an eating disorder, right?
Yeah. So what did you mean
And
by
so
they can't do other things that people can?
I mean I guess they can't get big if you know what I mean. They feel like they can't be, you know, big, I guess. I think my sister has a bit of anorexia in her because she definitely doesn't eat that much and she's extremely skinny. I don't know why I brought that up, but
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. That's just what
no, don't
I
worry
didn't
about it.
understand what you were
That's what
meaning
it
by
is,
that.
though, right? Right?
Yeah, it's an eating disorder. What it
Or
is,
yeah,
it's actually
it's like a fear of being too big, right?
yeah. They see
Yeah.
every
Yeah,
single fat. They feel like every single little piece of pocket of fat they have in their body is a problem. So
yeah,
they typically don't eat very much. Some of it it's very commonly comorbid with bulimia, where they throw up their food sometimes.
Yeah.
hmm
Binging, eating.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so I guess when I was talking, I wasn't really referring to anorexia. I was kind of talking more about skinny lean and your own personal choices. I think anorexia is kind of a different thing just because it's something that you can control, but at the same time it's something that you can't control. So like there's the idea that ADHD people can't concentrate, right? Or people with ADD can't concentrate. That's true. That doesn't mean they are physically incapable of concentrating. It just means it's much harder for them to do so, and it takes a lot more in order to do so. And so I think anorexia, I think what you were saying, King, is I don't think you can lump that together with um like fat representation now, because I think that's more of like a sickness more of than just personal choices.
I don't know.
So the way that these things typically can happen on a societal level is if you have an industry like the modeling industry depicting beauty standards as being super skinny, which didn't used to be a thing. It wasn't until the model Twiggy became popular that like skinny became the beauty standard. So if you have the a modeling industry that's depicting all these girls as being skinny as like the standard, it can cause um things like anorexia and bulimia to become more of a problem within that society because children are seeing these girls, women on TV and back in the day magazines and such, and they're not seeing themselves in those girls because they're not skinny like that. So they try to do things to make themselves skinny like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of things about how the modeling industry is sick. Like the people who do model have to go through a lot of stuff, and it's just like completely awful. I think the modeling industry is a very scummy business, and instead of promoting what's it called? Instead of promoting harmful ideas like, like you have to be extremely skinny to be pretty, which is I think honestly kind of true among males where they prefer more skinny women. I don't think that's healthy. I think you should promote more healthy things. The thing is though is I don't think people will base their worth on what they see in a magazine. I think that can be true for some like people with, like body issues and stuff. But I think it mostly stems from what they're being told by like different people in their lives. I think if they're being told like you need to be more skinny, which could honestly be a good thing for a few people, but it would definitely result in people being more, like more sad in how their body is, I guess. Like
Yeah.
they're much more,
So yeah,
yeah, you get
the
it.
people around them definitely play a huge impact, but the people around them are telling these people that you need to be like this, you need to be like that, based around what their society deems, acceptable, beautiful, or whatever. And that
Gotcha.
for us is largely dictated by the media.
Okay, so I guess I'll reframe my thing because I think I'm definitely understanding where you're coming from now. I think you've changed my mind.
Oh,
So,
fantastic. Steve, do you
yeah.
want to jump in here because you're about to lose them?
Yeah. I don't know if Steve agrees with me though. I think this is a
What's
very
up?
Steve,
different type of view.
you're about to lose Forg. Do you wanna jump in here?
I'm about to become a filthy Democrat, Steve. Help me.
Oh yeah? Can't be helped, unfortunately. Yeah,
Damn.
Oh no.
there's
I
no
fell too
once
far.
the brain worm sets in, there's no dislodging it without killing the host. So
Damn.
Oh no.
just you gotta let nature take its course. Maybe it'll go away. Maybe it won't go away, but
Unfortunate.
nothing I can do.
Dang, this sucks.
Like alien.
All right, go ahead with your thought, Fork.
Okay, so um I think you have changed my mind. Um I think you're right. And I was wrong. I know it's hard to hear. I was wrong. That things that people see do play an impact on how they think of themselves. Although the thing is I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think that's what I'm not gonna change my mind on. Is I think that can be used in harmful and good ways. I think it's a good thing to promote being healthy. I don't think you should promote, fat models because all of a sudden the new beauty norm is going to be being fat. If it gets like more radical, I don't think that's going to happen. But if you get like only fat models, you don't have any skinny ones left, then the norm is going to be, being fat. And while it might make fat people feel better about, I guess, their body, it won't make them feel good at all because they have to carry around all this extra weight, and there are a ton of health complications with that. It's kind of the same thing with anorexia. Like, I don't think you should promote. I think you should promote healthy healthy things that are actually achievable. Like not being super super buff where you have to inject a bunch of drugs into you to, make you more, big, and not do things where you have to under eat in order to be super skinny, and not things like where you have to overeat in order to be big. I think the modeling industry has sort of a like a weight on them. They have a what is it? Where they have a duty? They have a duty to uphold. Where they have to promote healthy ideas. Because that's the thing, is I think you're completely right, is what people see in the media will dictate how they want to live. And if you're promoting harmful things like being super duper skinny or being super duper fat, that's not going to help anyone.
No, I mean, I agree. I think the modeling industry should probably have representation across all the spectrums. However, like there is a problem when it comes to how you represent fat people, obese people. I agree with that. You can't represent them as being like the body type in which you want to go for because it is unhealthy. It's an unhealthy lifestyle. However, you can represent them as being confident and being okay with themselves and loving themselves. But I think a part of loving yourself as somebody who is obese is probably taking steps to try and change that obesity.
Hmm.
So if somebody like I think that somebody like Lizzo could do a world of good for people if she changed her lifestyle in a way, assuming that I don't know how she's got her weight. Maybe it is she there is something to it where maybe when she goes to the doctor, she might be somewhat healthy. But anyways, if she was had an unhealthy lifestyle, if she were to change that lifestyle in a way that was beneficial to her physical health, would probably be a good thing. But it's very important that she doesn't do this because she thinks that she's ugly and she needs to change her weight to be beautiful. It would have to be the result of her wanting to be healthy. Does that make
I
sense?
I would 100% agree with that. Is there's a fine line. It's kind of hard. Like I think it's perfectly reasonable to, get the idea out. I don't think it's bigoted to tell fat people that it's unhealthy to be fat. I don't
Mhm.
think that means like telling them to hate themselves. I think it's important for someone to love themselves for who they are, but also strive to change and become a better person.
Like
I think that's what you have to focus on.
at the same time, you probably if you have a fat friend or if you're walking by a fat stranger or you see a fat person online, it's probably not your place to say, "Hey, this is unhealthy," because unless they're trying to, you know, present themselves as being healthy for some reason, it's probably not a good idea to say, "Hey, this is unhealthy," because like that's not really your place to tell them. It's their doctor's place.
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
just being a bully at that point.
unless they're just ignoring it, like okay, Nikocado avocado.
No,
You don't?
I
Not a
don't.
YouTuber.
You're a
That's
liar.
That's
You don't
probably
know him?
that's probably a Gen Z thing, my dude.
No,
Steve, do you
you
know
are
him?
a big fat
Yeah.
liar.
There's no way you haven't seen this guy
Okay, hold
before.
on.
That's
I'm
the
He's
going
the
mug.
to.
That's
Yeah,
the
you are.
mukbang.
That
Mukbang.
wasn't a question. That was like I was expecting you to say yes.
Okay, how do you spell his name? I'm gonna look him up. Is he
Nikok or
Nikoc?
Nikoc, sorry.
Oh, I hold on. He came up.
Yeah, he does mukbangs like a
Yeah,
lot
and
of
he's
times, right?
quite big.
I don't know this
Yeah.
guy.
No, you're a
There's no fucking
liar.
way.
You're such a liar.
I
Look,
100.
I didn't look. Hey, I didn't know a lot of the big YouTubers when I first started watching. I'm with
Is
what's
he
his
still
name.
big?
I don't.
He's been losing weight recently, actually,
No,
but
no.
yeah,
Is he still big
moderately.
like in the YouTube sphere?
Oh, yeah, yeah. He was
Hold
bigger,
on a
but he's
second.
still big.
Was there a controversy about him eating like a bunch of Whoppers at some point, or
Probably he's eaten a bunch of everything.
Okay.
At every
The
point.
controversy
I know there
of
was
him
a
eating
controversy
bunch
with
of
him when he was
Whoppers.
doing the food. He was doing mukbang. He heard it or
I think
something.
I think I heard Philip DeFranco talk about him one time.
Yeah, there was a
Oh,
controversy with like him and this other mukbang YouTuber, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think take this with a grain of salt. I think it was like this girl tried to play him out as like being a creep,
Uh huh.
but he actually wasn't.
Okay.
ah.
I
Wait, I
think
thought he was. Wait, I thought he had a husband.
he does have a husband. Yeah, he was like
Oh.
talking to this other mukbang YouTuber though. It was like the
Oh.
mukbang.
So is it mukbanging when you eat a lot of food?
Yeah, when you eat a shit ton of food. Yeah,
I
Okay.
found a camera.
and there's some people who mukbang who are honestly kind of healthy. I
Probably.
don't think that's something that you should do, but I'm saying, you know, there are a few people who can handle it. I don't think that's a normal thing, though.
God, if I,
But
God, that shows. God, that's a sign of the times. You get
the
money from eating on the camera.
I mean the reason why I brought him up is because I think it would be totally reasonable for someone in the comments just to say like, "Hey, dude, you need to change. Like, it's getting unhealthy." I don't think. Again, there's a fine line between loving yourself and accepting it as like the new norm and the new healthy, right?
Yeah, so this guy is making a career making YouTube videos out of doing things that are unhealthy. I think it's probably fair to point that out. I don't think that you could, if he would just like post a picture of himself online for you to say you're fat and unhealthy. I don't think that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, it's probably not. I would agree. It's not helpful, but I think we should. I think as long as everyone's being honest and stating that being this weight, current weight, is not good for the human body.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if he like posts a picture of himself enjoying the beach, I don't think that that's the place for him to see somebody
Yeah,
giving
I
him
think there's
health
a place
advice.
and a time for
Hmm.
sure.
But,
I
like,
mean,
posting YouTube videos of him actively doing the thing that's making him unhealthy, then you could probably call that out, and it's probably fair game.
I this kind of I don't know. This will probably be short, but this kind of leads into something I've been grappling with, and that's whether or not what types of bullying I think is acceptable. And
Oh
that
my
might seem
gosh.
like a very weird
Oh
question.
God.
That might seem like a very weird question I've been talking to myself about, but I'm on Instagram Reels a lot, right? Because I'm a teenage kid. Um, you'll go into the comments, and there are a bunch of other teenage kids, and it's under like these LGBTQ videos where they're like, bring bullying back, right? I don't really think that would work. I don't think you can bully a kid into doing something, but I think you can give like constructive criticism, right?
Mhm.
Where you can tell a person, right, like this isn't okay, this isn't normal, but it has to be from a place of love and not from a place of hatred.
Yeah, that's true. If your friend's doing something weird, it's probably not a bad thing to point it out respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you even if you see somebody just struggling and you have some legitimate advice, it'd be like, "Hey, dude, do you want some advice?" Make sure it's up to them, because you don't want to just like give him advice unprompted. But yeah, or her. Um, if somebody smells bad, I think that that's a very fair game for somebody to be like, "Hey, look, dude, I'm not trying to make fun of you, but you stink and you've got to take a
Yeah,
shower,
for sure.
or use some deodorant." Uh, I've had to do that for a couple of my friends, to be honest.
Uh, I might
Um,
be a couple of your friends, and I'm told that a lot, sadly.
that you need a shower.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know if I should go into this, but I try to shower as much as I can, but
Do you have a condition? Oh, wait.
not like
Well,
a
there's some
condition,
people
but
some people have skin conditions that they just can't help the way they smell.
I don't think it's a condition. I just think I tend to definitely sweat a lot more than the average person.
Uh-huh.
And then I also have I my skin is extremely sensitive. So on my hair I have like super bad or I don't know. I'll get into it. Whatever. It might be gross a little bit. I don't know. But I have like bad eczema on my scalp, so I have to take care of that a lot. And
Yeah.
I don't know why my skin is just super sensitive for some reason.
Do you have
It always.
any prescriptions for it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Do they seem to work?
Um, I was I was prescribed some new ones like 2 weeks ago, and I haven't used them yet. So I'll tell you after I use them, like after tonight probably. Sure.
So I used to work with this guy that had a similar situation. Like it would be his scalp would get all red and flaky, and he did have like a certain smell
Yep.
to him.
Yeah, like musty.
I can't describe it. But he eventually did find a regimen that worked for him.
Uh-huh.
It took a while, and it I don't think that with that it's something that like it's kind of like using it's kind of like psych meds. You got to try different things maybe. Just keep working with your doctor and definitely do what he tells you
Yeah, I
to
should
try and fix
probably
it.
get on that.
Um,
I think it's a lack of care on my part that's mostly leading to it, so I need to get on that.
Here's the thing. I don't know how old you are, but your childhood, your child years are some of the best years of your life. So do whatever you can that was going to allow you to enjoy it to the max.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'll take
agree.
that.
Steve, you want to add anything? I think I'm about to head out soon.
Yeah. So I wasn't super paying attention to most of the conversation, but from before you were talking about beauty standards and stuff. Uh, what humans find attractive is malleable to a certain degree, but is not going to be is not going to shift away from the norm by an extreme degree. And no amount of propaganda will, well, advertising is propaganda, so no amount of advertising slash propaganda will induce the population to generally find like extremely obese people attractive. That will never happen because it's just impossible. It's
I
it's
think
it's
I
it's
was right
unnatural
on
and
that.
impossible, right? But it is possible for propaganda to induce the population into at least believing that they find like slightly overweight people attractive or slightly underweight people attractive or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, there's probably a
I,
So
limit.
humans are not infinitely malleable.
yeah, I
We're
think I
malleable within a small range in sort of the center of the distribution.
Yeah, like they have kinks.
Yeah, I think I said something earlier where I said like if you make a bunch of people like fat and you glorify that, then people will try and be more fat. I think I was definitely wrong on that. I think what would happen though is you tend to accept that as normal because I don't think I think humans definitely can be changed in what they think is healthy and what is not healthy.
So, another thing is there should not be fat representation in media. Okay,
Really?
because people should not be fat. So why are we displaying uh, a way that people should not be in media? I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what I was kind of trying to say. I didn't put it as plainly as you. I think I was kind of skimming over it. But yeah, I don't think there should be just because it's super unhealthy to advertise that to the normal person. I think it's kind of gross. You should definitely advertise. You should definitely strive to advertise something that is healthy for people.
I don't think that there should be smoker representation in media because people should not smoke.
sure.
Okay.
Okay.
But
All right.
I don't think anyone was complaining about how we need to get increased smoker representation or whatever.
But should we just get rid of it all?
No, it
Cigarettes,
should be banned,
cigarettes,
but
marijuana, all should
obviously.
be.
Yeah, all smokers should be shot on sight. In my
You know,
my
we
Oh yeah.
we
yeah.
definitely have a
Okay.
lot of.
All right.
Okay.
So my answer,
No,
my
I'm
real
joking.
answer to that is that yeah,
Or let's say this, right? If you show a smoker on TV, you have to shoehorn in some conversation between the characters about how they're planning on quitting smoking soon, right? Just like if you show a fat person on TV, then the character should have some kind of dialogue where it's like, yeah, I'm going on this new diet and I'm really gonna try to get healthy and like you should have to show them on a treadmill at some point in the TV show if you're gonna have a fat
So
person.
I think that the real answer is that yes, it's probably not ideal to be fat and to have a society where something like that is glorified. The fact of the matter is that we do have many, 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 many fat people in this world. Many, many, many of them have unnecessary self-esteem issues, and some sort of representation is probably good for their mental health, which could help them make the choice to live healthier lifestyles in the future.
I would actually disagree with that somewhat. I think the reason why fat people are depressed is a mix of two things. One, I think it's a little bit of people like just representation, right? Where they're like, oh, all the skinny people are up there. I wish I was skinny. I think it's a little bit of that, but I mostly think it just stems from them being fat. Just because fat can cause so many depression issues. I don't think it's because I don't think it's because most people are telling them to be skinny. I think, yeah, I think it's just because they're fat.
Well, I think it's a multi-prong issue. I think
Yeah.
it's negative representation in media, which can cause things like bullying, and negative self esteem, looking at yourself in a poor light, the feeling that you can't do something about it. I think that if there is going to be representation of bigger people, like so, I think that Lizzo could be a good example, whereas Lizzo is a bigger person who gets out there. She's a great singer. She's talented. She shows that despite this thing that she has, that society has told her is a very bad thing, for reasons other than just her health. Because let's face it, most of the time when when people are talking about why you shouldn't be fat, it's usually not because of the health issues. That's just something that people hide behind in order to bully people. There is a real health conversation that happens, but that doesn't happen in the school, and that doesn't amongst your peers, and that doesn't happen on Twitter. It's mostly people that just trying to fat shame. Um, and she said, showing that despite all of that, she can become famous. She can love herself, and she can be talented, and she can do things. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking it.
Okay, great talk, fellas. I, however, am getting tired, and I need to go to sleep.
All right.
Alright,
Oh, my mic
See you
was off.
later.
See ya
later.
All right, later. Have a good night.
later.
All right, thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, have a good night and bye bye.